Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to key explanation session on CA Foundation December 2021 Principles and Practices of Accounting question paper. Before going to start key explanation of each and every question given in the question paper, let us quickly analyze the question paper of December 2021 accounts paper. It means which question comes from which chapter. So what is the weightage of each question and what is the model of the question given in a particular chapter. Let us analyze the question paper and we'll start key explanation for each and every question. As you are all aware that, boys and girls, total question paper comprises of 6 questions. Out of 6 questions, question number 1 is the compulsory question, which comprises of 3 subparts. So 1A is the question on true or false statements along with a proper reason, and question number 1B is on computation of closing stock using weighted average method by preparing store's ledger account. Next, question number 1C is on accounting terminology. Okay, paper setter gave 4 terms and is asking you to write the meaning of those 4 terms, namely what is the meaning of accrual basis of accounting, and what is the meaning of amortization, what is the meaning of contingent assets, and what is the meaning of contingent liability. So coming to question number 1, 6 true or false questions from the entire syllabus, and 1A is computation of value of closing stock by following weighted average method with the help of store's ledger account, and 1C is the question on accounting terminology, meaning of 4 terms, that is accrual basis of accounting, next amortization, what is the meaning of contingent asset, and what is the meaning of contingent liability. And coming to question number 2, which again comprises of 3 parts. 2A, question number 2A is on preparation of basic question on preparation of trial balance, and coming to question number 2B is the question belongs to depreciation chapter. So paper setter is asking you to compute the amount of depreciation for the year ended 31st March 2021 and also gain or loss on the destroyed goods. So coming to question on depreciation, paper setter is asking you to compute amount of depreciation along with amount of depreciation for the year ended 31st March 2021. Paper setter is asking you to compute gain or loss on the destroyed bus, and 2C is the question belongs to famous chapter called bank reconciliation statement. This time question on BRS has been asked in the examination relating to adjusted cash book model, which we are expecting from the beginning itself. Next, question number 3A. Everyone clear? Question number 3 also comprises of 3 parts. So 3A is the question on bills of exchange. A new model has been tested this time. When bills are sent to bank for collection by the drawer, how to record journal entries in the books of the drawer is the question on bills of exchange. And question number 3B is the question on computation of average due date. So 3C consists of internal choice. You can go for answering of question belongs to account current chapter, or you can go for answering of question belongs to partnership accounts fundamentals. So adjustment entry, like that some question is given in the question paper. And coming to question number 4, which comprises of only 2 parts. So first question is the question on not for profit organization. So with the help of income and expenditure account, boys and girls, with the help of income and expenditure account given in the question, you have to prepare receipts and payments account and closing balance sheet, and opening balance sheet is also the working note. So మనకి క్వశ్చన్ లో ఇన్కమ్ అండ్ ఎక్స్పెండిచర్ అకౌంట్ ఇవ్వడం జరిగింది. ఆ ఇన్కమ్ అండ్ ఎక్స్పెండిచర్ అకౌంట్ అలాంగ్ విత్ అడిషనల్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ని మనం బేస్ చేసుకొని you have to prepare receipts and payments account, closing balance sheet, and then opening balance sheet is the working note. We'll discuss now. Next, 4B is one of the expected question this time. Partnership, admission of a partner, hidden goodwill model question is given. Next, coming to question number 5. So 5A is the simple question on rectification entry. So 5 errors are given. You have to write rectification entries for those 5 errors. Next, 5B is one of the expected area. So 5B is regarding preparation of financial statements of manufacturing entities. How manufacturing entities will prepare their financial statements? Nothing but preparation of manufacturing account. Next, trading account from their profit and loss account. So question is given for 15 marks. I'm sorry. Next, coming to question number 6. So question number 6A is the question on company accounts issue, forfeiture and reissue of shares. And question number 6B is the general theory question on subsidiary books and journal boys and girls. So what is the speciality of this question paper? Right? So those who are writing our revision examinations, almost we conducted 75 plus days of revision program this time. The student who are attending all the revision examinations, he will attempt this question paper without any fear. Majority of the questions given in this question paper are matched to the questions given in Shri Medha's revision examinations, and some of the questions given in this question paper are directly from our Shri Medha's module 1, module 2 and module 3. Right? So let us discuss the answer for each and every question. So inventory valuation is the direct question from our material. So next, trial balance is the direct question. Depreciation is the direct question from our material. Bank reconciliation statement, it means the question given in the question paper is similar to the question given in our Shri Medha's study material. It means the material which we gave to you in your classroom. Next, bills of exchange. This time new question has been asked regarding when bills are sent to bank for collection. So average due date, question on average due date is similar to our material just by changing the numbers. Account current also, and not for profit organization question is also the question given in the question paper matched to our study material. Partnership, just by changing the numbers they'll give the question in the question paper. Next, rectification, final account. This time from the beginning of this chapter, the moment when I start introduction of this chapter, I told you lot of times, this time we are expecting question from final accounts of manufacturing entities. Right? I marked 2 questions as probable questions. Out of those 2 probable questions, one question will strictly appear in the question paper, and we also gave that question in revision examination of final accounts as well as pre-final examination of accounts also. So the strike question which we are expected is given in the examination. Next, question number 6A, we solved right 10 models on company accounts issue, forfeiture and reissue. Question comes from that 10 models itself. Next, this is one general question. So theory question on subsidiary books. What do you mean by principal books of accounts, and what are the rules of posting journal entries into the ledger? Right? You have to open, you have to use 2 and buy symbols. We generally discussed at the time of ledger chapter. One general question. So out of 120 marks question paper, boys and girls, 85 to 90 marks of the question paper are from our revision examination questions this time. 85 to 90 marks of the question paper are from Medha's revision examination question papers. We are proudly says that 90% of the question paper, right, are from our revision examinations. So let us analyze or discuss the key for each and every individual question. So as you are all aware that boys and girls, so question number 1A is the question on true or false statements. So you have to write whether the statement is a true or false, and it should be accompanied by a proper reason. So we'll discuss that now. Yes, sir. So question number 1A is on true or false questions. Total 6 true or false statements are given. First statement is any amount spent to minimize the working expenses is a revenue expenditure. The given statement is false, boys and girls. If we incur any expenditure to reduce working expenses, that is our assumption that reduction of working expenses would generate a long-term benefit. If we incur any expenditure, in turn it derives long-term benefit, we can call it as a capital expenditure, not a revenue expenditure. So answer for the first statement is false. Any amount spent for reducing working expenses, it is our presumption that it would have generate long-term benefit to the entity. Therefore, it is a capital expenditure. It is not a revenue expenditure. Next, second true or false question. Expenses incurred on the repairs for the first time on purchase of old building or capital expenditure. The given statement is absolutely true, boys and girls. If we purchase any second hand asset, whether it is a building or machinery or furniture or some other tangible asset, if we purchase any second hand asset, so the expenses which are incurred to bring that asset into working condition, all are capital expenditure. So the given statement is true. Expenses incurred on the repairs for the first time on the purchase of old building or capital expenditure, because it is necessary to bring the building into working condition. This is the answer for second statement. Next, the provision for bad and doubtful debts is debited to sundry debtors account. The given statement is false. We discussed it now. The journal entry for provision for bad and doubtful debts is profit and loss account debtor to provision for bad and doubtful debts. The entry itself clearly says that provision for bad and doubtful debts is debited to profit and loss account and not debtors account. False. Provision for bad and doubtful debts is debited to profit and loss account and not to sundry debtors account. Next, true or false statement number 4. Right. So shareholders are divided into two categories: equity shareholder and preference shareholder. Right. The person who holds preference share is called preference shareholder, and the person who holds equity share is called equity shareholders. We discussed in the equity shareholders or the real owners of the company, and they are enjoying voting rights. Preference shareholders does not carry any voting rights. Whether the preference share is a cumulative preference share, non-cumulative preference share, participating preference share, non-participating, convertible, redeemable, irredeemable. See, whatever the kind of preference share might be subjected to conditions, preference shareholders do not carry any voting rights. They say that non-participating preference share enjoy voting rights. The given statement is false. Generally, preference shareholders does not have any voting rights, boys and girls. Coming to question number 5. So question number 5 is the true or false statements on consignment. When consignor send goods to consignee, consignee will sold goods to the customer on behalf of owner called consignor. At the end of the particular period, it may be end of the financial year or calendar year or some other period, whatever it might be, if any unsold stock lying in the godown of the consignee, that closing stock belongs to the consignor. The stock lying with the consignee at the end of the particular period belongs to the consignor, and the consignor have to write journal entry for the closing stock. So consignee will not write journal entry for closing stock. So what is the journal entry for the consignment stock in the books of consignor? Consignment stock account data to consignment account. So that is the journal entry you have to write in the books of consignor. So consignee will not write journal entry. Reason being he is not the owner. So the given statement is true. There is no entry passes by the consignee in his book for the remaining stock of goods lying with him. The given statement is absolutely true. There is no journal entry passes by the consignee in his book for the remaining stock of goods lying with him. Next, 7. Right? So, expected question. Discount column of the cash book is never balanced. If you are preparing, say, double column cash book with cash and discount columns, double column cash book with bank and discount columns, triple column cash book with cash, bank and discount columns. In all these two double column cash book and one triple column cash book, discount allowed and discount received columns are only information columns, boys and girls. Remember, they are not accounts. See, the total of discount allowed column is debited to discount allowed account in the ledger. The total of discount received column is credited to discount received account in the ledger. They are only information. They are merely information columns. They are not accounts. Right? Right. For information columns, we are not able to do an activity called balancing. So, discount column of the cash book is never balanced. The given statement is absolutely true. The totals of discount column of the cash book are transferred to discount allowed account and discount received account. Debited to discount allowed account, credited to discount received account. So, this is the answer for question number 1A, true or false question. Now, move on to question number 1B. Question number 1B is on preparation of stores ledger. Paper setter is asking you to compute the value of closing stock by following weighted average method. Right? Now we'll move on to question number 1B. So question number 1B is on computation of value of closing stock by following weighted average method. So the following are the details of spare parts of an oil mill. Here the name of the article which we are going to compute the value of inventory is spare parts of an oil mill. And coming to opening inventory of that spare part mill, on 1st January 2021, we'll go for purchase of 10 units at the rate of 300 per unit, and on 15th January 2021, issued for consumption 5 units. 1st February 2021, again we'll initiate purchase activity of 20 units at the rate of 400 per unit. On 15th February 2021, again 10 units are issued for consumption. On 20th February 2021, issued for consumption, right, 10 units. And find out the value of inventory as on 31st March 2021 if company follows weighted average method. Sir, how the value of inventory should be computed? By adopting weighted average method, by preparing stores ledger account. So, solution to question number 1B. So computation of value of inventory, or closing stock by adopting which method? Weighted average method. By adopting weighted average method, right? So for the purpose of computing the value of inventory, you have to prepare what? Stores ledger account. We already discussed it, it comprises of 4 columns. First column is debt. Second column receipts. Third column issue. Fourth column balance. Okay, so receipts column comprises of 3 sub columns. First one is quantity, rate per unit, rupees. Here quantity, next rate per unit, rupees. Balance, quantity, rate per unit, rupees. So, and we don't have any opening stock on 1st January 2021 na. On 1st January we initiate purchase activity na. So on Jan 1st we initiate purchase activity na. Quantity, how many units? 10 units. What is the purchase price per unit? 300. 10 into 300, 3000. And we don't have any issues on that particular date. Okay. And coming to closing stock as on 1st January, in our godown, there are 10 units, boys and girls. The rate per unit is 300 and the value of closing stock is 3000. Next, on Jan 15th, I think we'll issue for consumption 5 units, boys and girls. Jan 15th. How many units are issued for consumption? Right, here 5 units are issued for consumption. What is the rate per unit? Value divided by quantity. 3000 divided by 10. How much? 300, 1500. Everyone clear? 10 minus 5, 5 units. Next, 3000 minus 1500, 1500. Weighted average price 1500 divided by 5, 300, boys and girls. Next, third transaction is on 1st February. Again, we'll initiate a purchase activity. February 1. We go for purchase of how many units? 20 units. This time, supplier is charging how much per unit? 400 per unit. 20 into 400. It's 8000. On the date, we don't have any issues. Coming to closing stock, 5 plus 20. How many units? 25 units. Now see, 1500 plus 8000. It's how much? 9500. Now 9500 divided by 25. It's 380. Now the weighted average price of 25 units is 380. Next, on 15th February, certain units are issued for consumption. 15th February, we don't have any purchases. Tell me how many units are issued for the consumption? 10 units. What is the weighted average price? 380. 3,800. 25 minus 10, 15 units. Next, 9,500 minus 3,800. It's 5,700. Obviously, the weighted average price would not change. It's 380. Next, again on February 20, will issued for consumption. February 20, again will issue certain quantity for consumption. The certain quantity is 10 units at the rate of 380. How much? 3,800. 15 minus 10. How many units? 5 units. 5,700 minus 3,800. It's 1,900 is divided by 5 units. The weighted average price is 380. So these were the transactions takes place in the month of January and February, boys and girls. It means on February 20, the closing stock in our godown is 5 units valuing 1,900. And there are no transactions in the month of March. It means on 31st March 2021, the value of inventory is 1,900. This is the answer. Value of inventory as on 31st March 2021, I think. Yes, 2021 is rupees 1,900. So this is the answer for question number 1B. So the value of inventory as on 31st March 2021 is 1,900. Right? Please look into that. We'll move on to next question called 1C, boys and girls. So coming to question number 1C. So paper setter is asking you to write the meaning of 4 basic terms, namely accrual basis of accounting, amortization, contingent asset and contingent liability. So we already discussed in our regular classes that accrual basis of accounting, if a transaction is a cash transaction or credit transaction, if it takes place or happens between 12 months, right, from 1st January to 31st December or 1st April to 31st March, 1st July to 30th June, 1st October to 30th September. See, whatever it might be, if a transaction takes place in a period of 12 months, the nature may be either cash transaction or credit transaction. It must be recognized in the books of accounts, boys and girls. So accrual basis of accounting is a method of recording transactions by which revenue, sales, other income, cost, purchases, other expenses, assets and liabilities are recognized during the accounting period in which they accrue. So amortization. So depreciation is the term used for tangible fixed assets and amortization is the term used for intangible fixed assets, boys and girls. So the process of written down of value of intangible fixed assets is called amortization. So amortization is the practice of spreading on intangible assets cost over its useful life. Apart from this, 2 basic terms are given. Contingent asset, we already discussed lot of example when litigation is pending in the court. Same example is discussed for contingent liability when bill is discounted with the banker, right? So contingent asset. A contingent asset is a possible asset that arises from past events, the existence of which will be confirmed only by occurrence and non-occurrence of one or more uncertain future events. The same with some difference we discussed for contingent liability. So it is a liability, is a possible obligation we have to pay. Here we have to receive. So here possible receipt, here possible payment that arises from past events on the existence of which will be confirmed only by the occurrence or non-occurrence of one or more uncertain future events. See, example, when his bill is discounted with the banker, boys and girls, on the due date, drawee will have obligation to pay the banker, right? If drawee fails to pay, as a drawer we have obligation to pay, right? It may happen or it may not happen. So you can call it as contingent liability, right? When we file a suit against our party, some of the party, supplier or creditor, right? We may win the case or we may lose the case. If we win the case, we get the compensation. If we lose the case, we are not able to get the compensation. In that circumstances, you can call it as contingent asset liabilities, boys and girls. So this is the key for question number 1C. So with this, question number 1 is completed. Now let us move on to question number 2. I think again 3 sub questions are there. So question number 2A, 2B and 2C, boys and girls. Right. Okay, boys and girls. So coming to question number 2. So question number 2A is the question on preparation of trial balance. So this is for the second time a question has been asked from the chapter called trial balance. So question number 2A is the question on preparation of trial balance. From the following information, draw up a trial balance in the books of Shri M as on 31st March 2021. So coming to the facts of the question, capital shows credit balance, discount allowed shows debit balance, carries outward shows debit balance, return inwards, nothing but sales return shows debit balance, rent and taxes of rupees 1200 shows debit balance, stock as on 1st April 2020 shows debit balance, sundry creditors shows credit balance, and commission received 1800 shows credit balance, cash at bank of rupees 10,100 shows debit balance, boys and girls. Coming to this side, purchases shows debit balance, carries inward debit balance, sales of rupees 60,000 credit balance, return outwards, purchase return shows credit balance, plant and machinery shows debit balance, sundry debtors shows debit balance, and investments of rupees 3,600 shows debit balance, cash in hand also shows debit balance, motorcycle, boys and girls, so it also shows debit balance. So based on this information, paper setter is asking you to prepare trial balance, boys and girls. So we'll go for preparation of trial balance. And one more item, stock as on 31st March 2021, its closing stock amounting to 20,500, boys and girls. So closing stock. Okay, we'll go for preparation of trial balance. Question number 2A. So heading will be trial balance of Shri, only M, I think, M as on 31st March 2021. So particulars or head of account, head of the account. So initial column is LF. LF stands for ledger folio. If account shows debit balance, you should write in debit column. If account shows credit balance, you should write in credit column. So first one is what? Capital. Okay, capital shows which balance? LFs are not given, It's better to write 1, 2, 3. So first capital shows credit balance of rupees how much? 1,40,000. Next number 2. What is the name of the account? Number 2, purchases. Okay, purchases shows a debit balance of rupees 36,000. Next, discount allowed. What allowed? Discount allowed shows a debit balance of rupees 1,200. Next, I take the question. So carries inward and carries outward, both shows debit balance na? Right. Carries inwards shows debit balance of rupees 8,700. Next, here carries outwards shows debit balance of rupees 2,300. Next, thereafter sales is another item na? Sales shows credit balance of rupees 60,000. Next, 7, return inwards, nothing but sales returns. So return inwards shows a debit balance of rupees 300. Next, 8, return outwards shows credit balance of rupees how much? 700. Next, rent and taxes. Rent and taxes shows debit balance of rupees how much? 1,200. Next, 10, plant and machinery shows debit balance of rupees 80,700. Next, 11, stock as on 1st April 2020 shows how much? 15,500. Next, thereafter 12, sundry debtors. Okay, sundry debtors how much? 20,200. Next, 13, what? Sundry creditors shows the credit balance na of rupees how much? 12,000. Next, investments is another item na. So I'll check whether the space is dividable or not. Yes. Investments, 14, item. Investments shows debit balance na of rupees 3,600. Next, commission received. Apart from this, commission received is there na, amounting to how much? 1,800. Next, boys and girls, cash in hand, 16, cash in hand amounting to how much? It's 100. Right, so apart from this, some more items are there. Space is not enough, you should write down. Right, 2 more items are there. So we are left with 3 more items. So after cash in hand, 1 more item is there. 17, what? Cash at bank. right? So cash at bank amounting to how much? It's 10,100. Next, ఇక్కడ చేద్దాం. 18 motorcycle, right? Debit, credit. So you should write in debit column motorcycle how much? 34,600. Sir, what about closing stock? Sir, if you should consider it as an adjustment, it will not appear in trial balance, boys and girls. If we recorded it on debit column of the trial balance, so everyone clear? So suspense will come. So our interpretation is so don't consider closing stock in trial balance, boys and girls. Everyone clear? So therefore the total is 2,14,500. Here also 2,14,500. So this is the suggested answer for question number 2A. Right? Please go through this. So suggestion answer for question number 2A. And some students will consider closing stock, then suspense will come. So it's better not to consider closing stock.